What's up guys, and welcome back to Adventure Built. Today we're doing a long-term review on my Peregrine 270 awning from 23Zero, and it's an absolute beast. I have a list of 10 things that are absolutely outstanding about this awning, but stick around to the very end where I will tell you the one improvement that 23Zero can make to take this awning to the very next level. Stay tuned. We're going to start on the outside and talk about the storage bag. Now, if you really pay attention, you'll notice that the storage bag itself is actually fitted really tightly to the contour of the awning when it's in the stowed position. That allows it to not flap around in the wind, and it just makes it a nice tight package. That way you have to worry about it getting snagged on brush. It moves past it. It doesn't have little waves and stuff in the bag to kind of catch on things, to rip and tear. It's just a really great design. The zipper is of the highest quality, even with all the dirt and mud and muck up here in Montana. It has never gotten stuck on me. It is a great zipper that you never have to worry about. Now, mounting the awning itself is very straightforward. The whole awning is mounted to an extrusion plate that is nice and rigid, and it's got the slots for the bolts to kind of slide around in. It comes with bracketry, and it's just a really slick, easy assembly and installation on any rack. Now, I went a different route with mine. I actually got Brax racks, I think they're called, and it's a quick release system that 23Zero has, and it is just really slick. It's easy to get on, easy to get off, and the Brax racks are actually lockable, which is even that much more secure. If you live in an area where this is going to live on your rig, you can lock it and know it's not going anywhere. Now, opening up the awning could not be any easier. I always keep the zipper at the far end. You open up the Velcro hold down tab that protects the zipper from rattling, and you just unzip it all the way to the other end. Now, comically, I have to use this step stool right here to be able to access this awning. Not a 23Zero issue, it's a Super Ute issue. This big truck on 37s and just how high this is off the ground makes it that I have to use this step stool because I'm not 6'5" to be able to access all the zippers and be able to roll it up and stow it and use the straps. So, yep, this is kind of what I have to do. Now that the large cover is up and out of the way, there's 3 large straps that kind of hold everything to the backer plate. You just release those and then open it up. One of the great things about this awning is how much coverage you get. This thing is massive. I'm starting here by the driver's side door at the very front of it. I'm gonna walk all the way around to the back while we talk about the height of it. Now, because it's on the Super Ute, one of the good things about me having to use a step stool to access this whole thing is that it is so high, I can't even touch it when I'm walking underneath it. So that allows me to have just a lot of usable space that I'm not cramped underneath. I feel like I'm in the Taj Mahal. And look, I'm here at the back side of it, and I mean, this thing is just a lot of coverage. Now, there's 2 options with this tent. You can get the 6-arm like I have here on the Super Ute because it's huge, or you can get the 5-arm, and I think you don't get that very, very front coverage. It doesn't go all the way to the door. But for me, it's actually great because everything is high enough. All the doors still open with this awning on. I know some of the awnings with lower coverage, you can't open the doors. But in my application, this is perfect. The arms of the Peregrine are a trellis style, and they're really strong and really rigid. I got caught in a windstorm at Northwest Overland Rally. A lot of people lost tents and awnings. This thing didn't even budge. I woke up early in the morning, opened the window to make sure, and it was moving pretty good, but there wasn't a creak out of it. I had full confidence this thing wasn't going anywhere. Now, the Peregrine does great in rain, snow, and wind, but it also does amazing in the sunlight because it uses LST technology, which is the light suppression technology that 23Zero is really known for, which blocks out almost all of the sunlight coming in, both UVA and UVB rays, which is nice because even in the hot summers, this is going to give you a good reprieve and a nice shade spot. And additionally, 23Zero offers a wall kit for this, which is a complete enclosure with mesh windows, and it's a great option. I didn't opt for it, but I cannot wait to get my hands on it, especially in the cold winter months. I can set the lava box up inside here and keep this big, massive space nice and warm for maybe a little river party. Now with your Peregrine, you get a whole lot of accessories like stakes and these tie downs, which is great for tying this whole thing down. If you had to stake it out, you could do it pretty quick with all of the included hardware. However, the one modification I did make to the awning was changing out the way that the end points hook into the rack on both sides. I ended up swapping it out for these cordelette roller cam, camming hook system deals, only because I have to wrap around things, so I have to undo it every time, and this was just easier for me, and I had these and they work awesome. Another very thoughtful thing that 23Zero did was add this flap here to the part that goes over the tailgate, and this allows you to really just extend this over if there's a gap between this end bar and your tailgate or your canopy, that this will actually bridge that gap so that you have perfect waterproof covering. It will allow the water to kind of run off that way and then run off the sides. Just a very thoughtful addition. Now these 270 awnings are amazing for most applications. The only time that you'll have an issue is if you have an A-frame tent where your entry is to the back of the truck, and then you have to put this away before you get in your tent, and it's kind of a pain. However, 23Zero has solved that problem altogether with a pass-through that is just crazy convenient. And of course, last but not least, the Peregrine Pro has an outstanding lighting system. In the bag here is all your wiring kit. The harness for the lights is really inclusive. It's one strand, there's a long end for the far end, there's 3 plugs here on the short end, and then there's a long run with a USB at the end to get to your power supply, and a controller built into the middle. Again, just a great system that is not going to fail you. There's these 3 straps here that you can use it to manage this cable, but I typically just put it behind the max tracks and it stays just fine. And now I'm going to plug it into a USB port here on my brand new Ranergy integrated battery solar system. Now these lights aren't a 3M taped in afterthought. They're actually integrated into the bars, which makes them a permanent fixture, and they put out a ton of light. Now there's white, like a yellow, and then an amber, and then there's light settings within that, so you can have low power all the way to high power by holding the button. It's just a really great system. Let's get this thing put away, and I'll tell you my one gripe about this awning, and it is super nitpicky. Here's my complaint, and it's really very petty. It's actually the way it all goes back together in the bag. What makes that bag so great is also kind of an issue in the cold and wet weather. That was probably one of the easier times I've had putting that away. When it gets cold, the fabric gets a little bit harder to roll up nice and tightly, and it's really hard to get it back in there, and that's due to the custom fit of the bag to keep it nice and tight. Now I understand the bags are fitted the way they are because it really does look good. It's super functional, and there's no flapping in the wind. I never hear that thing behind me. However, at the same time, it does make it challenging to get it put back in the bag when it's cold out or when it's really, really wet and you can't get a great grip on it. It just makes it a little challenging. Nothing I haven't been able to not put away, but it just makes it a little bit more time consuming. All right, guys, I really hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, be sure to hit that thumbs up, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.